Welcome to Mars.
All right, welcome back to Mars Radio. We're here with our next guest. Our next guest is a West Coast veteran and legend from Watts, California. He goes by the name of Glasses Malone. Glasses, welcome to Mars Radio.
Thank you for having me, dog.
And like I said, you're from Watts, California, right?
Yep.
Okay, so what would you say about Watts, California to somebody that's never been?
Don't go there. I'll tell them do not go to Watts, California.
Okay, and what if you were describing it to somebody to tell them a little bit about your city? How would you describe it?
Um, Really fun. A lot of soul there. Deep. A lot of camaraderie. Um,
There's a lot of pride in Watts.
yeah, yeah. Ton of pride. Um,
I think the most proud people are people from Oakland. They rep Oakland like no other. But if I had to say the second, would probably be Watts. People
yeah,
from Watts are very proud to be from Watts.
yeah. Probably even more than Oakland, honestly.
You think
Like,
so?
yeah, because they changed their whole dialogue to fit. Like, we don't say what's up, we say what's up. Um, we talk about it so much, people think it is its own city like Oakland, and it's not.
Right.
It's a neighborhood of Los Angeles, but it's one of the first established places for Black people, in the city itself. So
Right.
it's a hella pride there. Like people really are proud. Like you proud to be from Watts to survive the struggle, and you came together with other people to make it happen.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And growing up, when you were growing up in Watts, what kind of kid would you describe yourself out? Were you like always into the gangbanging stuff, or were you into sports early, girls, getting money? What was younger Glasses into growing up in Watts?
Um, well, there's no real gang banging stuff to be into, right? It's
Right.
you get into fights because your friends are your friends. Uh, for the most part, man, I just was more optimistic about everything. Uh, I like basketball then. I grew up watching the Showtime Lakers. You
Okay.
know, I grew up respecting the culture itself. You know what I mean? How everybody conducted themselves, how everybody dressed, and made do. Like I grew up a fan of the culture. I grew up a fan of Black people really surviving and struggling together. I
Okay.
grew up really a fan of that.
And what would you say your first memory of music is? When did you find yourself in love with music, thinking, "Hey, this is something more than just something to listen to. This is a lifestyle. This is something that attracts me in a different way." What's your first memory of music?
So my first memory of music is Ice T and Chris the Glove on the film Breaking when I was little. Um, that I remember that more than anything else. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Um, they was in the movie Breaking. I didn't find myself falling in love with hip hop musically till I was already a signed artist.
Oh wow.
You know what I mean? I don't think I was ever in love with it. It became therapeutic, like useful when I started rapping. It helped me get through a lot of stuff that I was dealing with. And it was like a therapist to talk to. The microphone was a therapist. But I didn't really fall in love with it probably until 2014, 13. I was on YouTube studying. 2011, I started this process of really understanding what records, hip hop, and marketing was about. And in 2013, 14, I found a couple YouTube videos specifically, and that's when I really discovered how much I loved music. One is Barry White performing at the Soul Train Awards. Excuse me,
Okay.
not at the Soul Train Awards, but at Soul Train.
Right.
And he was the only person that had a live mic. Like everybody else used to lip sync at Soul Train, but he had a live band there, and he was singing. And I remember just thinking that shit was crazy. Like he was the only one doing it live, and he would he would swag the words out so you knew it was live.
Right. So you,
Um,
so you're saying before while you were doing music, you didn't have the love for it until
no,
that moment?
yeah, Dramatics. I discovered the Dramatics performing at Soul Train, and I discovered Marvin Gaye singing, like practicing, doing a mic check backstage with his band. He was laid across the couch singing um, "I Want You." He was laid across the couch singing it, and that's when I really realized I love music like that.
Wow. So before that, was it more of just a job or just a way to get money, or what was it that attracted you to it before that?
It was therapeutic.
Oh, okay.
Like it became something to talk to get all of this trauma off my chest that I was dealing with in the streets. Then it became a business as well. You know what I mean? A way to create a livelihood. But I wasn't in love with it until that time, to 2013, 14.
Oh, that's
when
a
I
very
discovered
honest
those
answer, bro.
three. It's true, yeah.
Yeah, that's a very honest answer. So we're gonna get into a couple of topics here. I know you're on your press one right now. Um, I had a question about you made a couple of statements before that really stuck out to me, like punk rock and hip hop are like stepbrothers.
Sure.
So some of the groups that people would consider hip hop, you would say they're punk rock because like Beastie Boys and stuff like
Sure.
that. What makes you think that? Or what makes you like? Where do you come to that assumption?
The more you learn about punk rock, you realize it was driven by the same type of poverty, oppression. You know what I mean? The same type of poor communities. Trailer trash versus the ghetto.
Okay.
Same community. You know what I mean? So I call them stepbrothers because it's the same, evil father putting down that type of oppression, that type of denying of opportunities. And snoring and shit, huh?
Yeah.
Those snoring. That same type of, you were snoring, man. That's douchebag snoring. No, I call it stepbrothers because it's the same father, that evil father of oppression, depriving people of opportunities, systemic racism, all of these things that go into, the things that create these type of environments, but it's different mothers because they're in different places on the earth. So that's why I call them stepbrothers.
And seeing how you consider them stepbrothers, you're able to categorize people outside of hip hop because I don't want to misquote you, but because they're not from the street urban culture.
Sure, they didn't grow up in it.
Somebody like Kanye West.
Well, man, this is funny because I said it was a thought I was thinking. I still haven't came to
That's
that
what I was just about to
conclusion.
say. Have you decided yet?
No. I don't know if it's really something I'm pursuing. It was just a thought that I had out loud. Like I was able to identify Drake and certain other people.
Right.
But Kanye is somebody I thought I was like, damn, this nigga is the father. Like this is Kanye's father. No disrespect to Dennis, but musically, Kanye created the birth of where you can have a Drake.
Right.
Where you can have a J. Cole.
Kid Cudi.
And all of these people came from Kanye. So I don't know if I'll ever get to that point. I'm obviously going to pursue it eventually, but it's not as important. It was never the journey in the first place to figure out if Kanye West was hip hop.
Right. No, it just stood out to me because what you followed that up with was, and you said Kanye West makes black music relatable to blacks, but he uses the black music as in like the samples and stuff. So it feels like his culture, but the fact that his first song was about a car accident, quote, having insurance and everything.
Car accident,
yeah. It kind of got me thinking, like, that's probably why he might be disconnected from certain things.
Hands down. Yeah. I said that in the same conversation. That's why sometimes we don't identify with things that he's talking about as a, and it's not all of us, right? Because I've always thought black people in general, right, was three different types of people, right? You had the slaver, which is a very small percentage. Black people who own slaves. That's a mentality. That's a lifestyle. You had the freedmen, black people who was never on a plantation,
and that's
who
what
was
Kanye
freed
West
the
is.
whole time. Yep. And then you have slaves who create culture, right? And that's what we call hip hop, right? That's a slave culture. Like soul food is a slave culture. That's a poor culture.
Right.
Poor people create culture. Poor people created tacos in Mexico.
Is that because they work with what they got no matter what, and they
Hands
swag
down.
it out,
and
then make it cool to where the other groups
want
to be a part of it?
That's dope that you got it. Because niggas do not get that.
No, yeah, absolutely. I mean,
poor Mexican people made tacos.
Yeah.
Poor Italian people made pizza.
Right. We made menudo out of the pieces of the cow nobody else wanted.
And we made chillings out of pieces of the pig that nobody wanted.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I thought it was kind of funny you called Kanye West the Eddie Winslow. Seeing how, because, the Eddie Winslow character is one thing, but what he did in real life is pretty similar to
right.
It's the direct correlation. And if you take the Eddie Winslow character in real life, he got with Stephen, Corinne, and then, so those two right there, pretty much. So here's another question: Is the zesty culture at its peak right now? Because I think, like you were saying, Drake with the fingernails or with the barrettes and stuff, is that at its peak, or do you think it can even get worse the more it's accepted and celebrated with people like Drake doing shit like that? Not that there's anything wrong with that. To each their own. I'm just asking your opinion.
There's something wrong with it. The androgyny in urban music has been around.
Okay.
Prince, Rick James, ton of androgyny in urban music. It just wasn't in hip hop, because hip hop was like the true, masculinity
Tough
of
guy.
all of this shit. Not even a tough guy, but just the real man who had to defend his pride and reputation with everything because it's all he had. You know what I mean? So it's like it's a bad look because it confuses people with the core of Black culture. It's like this is what they're doing in Atlanta, and it's not true. So
okay.
I don't like it as a representation of the ghetto. That's not the movement. The ghetto is, like I said, hip hop is the last thing that's about us. Everybody else, America has slipped into a place where it's about me. You see them, sending all of the opportunities to other countries to profit, for one person to
like
profit
the jobs
more.
and stuff.
Yeah, for one person to profit more, so they send the work to another country in China or something.
Telemarketing, all that
cheap
shit.
Just to be cheap and to maximize dollars. It's selfish.
To make two instead of one.
Yeah, hip hop is the last thing that's still us. And it's like they're trying to colonize it and make it about me. And we need to hold that. We need to hold it a little longer because
protect it.
Yeah, some more generations that need this opportunity to get out of the ghetto.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it's deep like that. A lot of times shit I say comes across really surface, but Deuce Mac or Joey Westside, anybody that's around me, Pete, like I pretty much read about it. It's not tongue in cheek at all.
Right, and you talk very intelligent because you don't just say outlandish shit for the highlight. You have something to back it up with. Right.
The cold part, bro, is most of the time I'm at the end of the conversation when we started because I was already like going through this.
Mm-hmm.
So like that's what happens. Like we were just having a conversation where somebody felt like they needed to clarify to me Illmatic is a better album than, let's say, Wu-Tang 36 Chambers. But that was never the conversation in the first place. But it's where people want to live at because they're comfortable. They don't want to challenge anything else about the conversation.
What was the initial conversation, if you don't mind me asking?
There were records that came out in that, that 12-month span around it that were way better than every record that was on Illmatic.
Wow.
Right? Cream came out at that time. Juicy came out at that time.
Triumph.
Big Papa came out at that time.
Yeah.
I mean, those are New York records at that time.
Absolutely.
Doesn't mean 36 Chambers is a better album than Illmatic. And it's not even to say Ready to Die is a better album than Illmatic. But there are much better and greater records.
I agree. All those records you just named.
Yeah. So,
and all those records have the New York sound, so you can't discount them at all.
And that's what I was telling Billy, right? Yeah. I was explaining to Billy Knight, like, bro, like, but again, they set right there in the conversation kind of at this, well, Illmatic is a better album, but that's not what I'm talking about. Like, this shit is still the record business. Like, we still can, dissect music as just one record.
I think it comes from them trying to protect Nas. You know
and
what I mean?
As if he needed
protection. Yeah, as if he needed protection.
Nas. He got like a million, he got a lot of good albums.
For sure.
You know what I mean? But that's them protecting that time in their life, like my homeboy Jobs from, Intellectually Petty Podcast or DJ Billy Knight. They're protecting that time in their life. Whereas like they discovered, the source told them this was the second coming of New York. And it was like, they're protecting that. They like, nigga, 5 mics. The Golden Child.
Back when the mics mattered.
You know what I mean? Back when the mic. The Golden Child. The first time the super producers came together and made one album. They need to protect that time in their life because, that was special for them. So I don't want to take it apart, but
for sure,
just don't try to force feed that shit to me.
Yeah.
I'm listening. My ears. I don't give a fuck who gave the source any mics.
Absolutely.
I don't give a fuck who produced the album. Is the shit jamming? You know what I mean? That's the only thing I care about.
And because he's a legend, everybody else will celebrate it. I mean, us being honest about it isn't going to take away from his legacy.
That's what kills me, bro. And like that, like if I'm talking about, it's funny because if I'm talking about Drake, they'll be acting like what I'm saying is going to stop people.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to listen to Drake. Drake just dropped a project with 5 songs. I'm going to play Scary Hour Street to listen to see what's going on.
Right.
Like it doesn't mean because Drake is not hip hop or I'm expressing that means Drake is not fantastic as a musician. It don't mean I'm not gonna listen to his music. Like he's fucking dope.
Yeah.
So, but again, everybody, we're in a space where everybody wants you to have the exact same rhetoric. And if you don't have that rhetoric, then you don't favor that person.
Absolutely.
And I'm just not down. And if it means that I got less friends, if it means Drake don't want to fuck with me, fuck her. You know what I mean? He could be a whole ass nigga and mad what I'm saying. I don't give a fuck. I'm not trying to be friends.
Or if he's anything like we think he is, he'll understand where you're coming from and probably respect it.
Well, I mean, whether he do or not, he understands this is important for black people in the ghetto to have. He understands. I get
Yeah.
it that he liked it and he made a way through it and it worked out for his career and it made him money. But goddamn, my nigga, you know what happened to rock and roll. He not stupid. Them dudes are scientists over there. 40 is brilliant. Drake is brilliant.
They know what
so
they're
they
doing.
know what I'm talking about when I'm talking about what happened to rock and roll, and he knows what he represents. It's a burden that he has to wear. But goddamn, you don't got to wear nothing else. You could be anybody you want. You could be as, androgynous. You could be as flavorless as you want. You can go to every place and be whoever they are, and it's fine. But goddamn, man, this is the last thing that the ghetto has. You either give a fuck or you don't.
For sure. And I mean, him being the biggest pop artist in the world, that's not that bad of a life to have. Right?
And I wouldn't jump off that cliff either. I seen Taylor Swift. This bitch had motherfucking end caps at Target, and they don't even sell. They were selling vinyls and CDs. So I don't know if Drake is bigger than Taylor Swift at this point now.
No, I mean,
I would have thought that at first too, because even though Taylor Swift did SoFi Stadium 5 times in a row, minus that, you know what I mean? But I would have for sure thought so, but I don't know. So
I just meant as far as the hip hop end. Like if you're gonna
The
put hip hop,
rap
the rap end, not
sure.
hip hop. Correct. Yes, the rap end. He'd be as far pop as you could go that way.
For sure.
And then Kanye West would probably be right next to him.
Yeah.
Do you believe in God?
Of course.
All right. So what do you think God would tell us nowadays if he could come down and see the world the way it is, the way music is? Because the last messages that he gave us were scriptures from a long time ago.
Sure.
What kind of advice do you think he would tell us nowadays with the way that the world is, the way the cancel culture, the way that the fucked up shit, police brutality? What kind of message do you think you could see God having for us if he could write a new scripture for us nowadays?
Man, that nigga flood this motherfucker. Somebody gonna build a couple arcs. He gonna save a couple niggas and get rid of the rest of this shit.
Everybody's gonna be gone.
Man, we're so disconnected from the human experience and caring about each other. This world raggedy as fuck.
He'd be hella disappointed.
Right now, I know he'd be like, look at these niggas. What's funny is I got a joke, and it's really built off an album. Like, the world is so fucked up, man, when it comes to anything spirituality, because they're so trying to be open to silly shit and this false sense of inclusion, because Satan could come down.
Mm-hmm.
Satan could come up, rather, or Satan could just be right there, right, and give about 100 people or 1,000 people $1,000, maybe 100,000 people $1,000,
mm-hmm.
and niggas will be on their Instagram telling you, man, Satan ain't that bad.
Oh,
right now. That's how fucked up we are in a time to where we have this false sense of inclusion, this false sense of reality to cater to people's emotion. Literally, Satan could come and run a campaign on the world right now and probably, you know what I mean, be revered. Like, he'll be the nigga. And niggas be like, man, Satan ain't God. Niggas tripping. Satan is cool.
So you think Satan would have hella followers if he was on Instagram?
Right now. Popping, posting his life, and yachts.
Hella hot.
Niggas will be in the comments like, man, that nigga Satan got it popping.
Nothing but flame emojis in the comments.
And I'll be arguing with my niggas who be sending me his posts. Like, why is y'all sending me this whole ass nigga shit? Man, you know, you tripping, man. You know, it ain't that bad.
Oh, it's not that hot.
You know what I mean? It's not that bad, nigga. You see that nigga Rory? You got the new Rory.
That's kind of like during the pandemic when people were getting the money and the loans and the unemployment. You know, they were saying that it was kind of cool, even though we were in the middle of a pandemic and shit was all fucked up.
Well, that's how poor people is. They've never been able to pay their bills. And this was the first time they was able to pay their bills. So I respect that. So I wouldn't compare it to that. But
okay.
I just think that we just in a weird place that if Satan had an Instagram, like, it'd be popping. Like, that nigga be posting yachts, bitches.
He'd be trending?
Bitches, like, you know what I mean?
Like, you have Satan memes?
Hands down. Niggas be like sharing them. You know what I mean? We in a really fucked up time.
Yeah.
And you know, me, LA Giants, EP, we got a really tough task ahead. You know what I mean? We just built for the job, but it's a tough task ahead, man. There's a lot of bullshit ass shit going on, and everybody gets scared. Like, even if we talking about right now, like, people will feel like that it could, like, one part of it, like when I'm talking about, you know, zesty shit, it's like, oh, well, you know, I don't know if the LGBT, I don't give a fuck if they're offended. I'm not talking to them. Mind they fucking business. If I'm talking to you, I'll say your name. Right. If I said the LGBTQ cuz, I would say it. I don't give a fuck. I'll take all the faves too. And I don't need Pepsi money or Fox money or nobody money that you pay. So my point is, I don't live in that space where I'm looking for somebody's approval or I'm looking to not offend somebody. That just ain't what hip hop is about. Hip hop is about, this is the real truth. So we not shying away from ideas because we worried that somebody else could mistake us talking to them. Mind your fucking business. We come from the era of mind your fucking business if nobody talking to you. And for sure, you got to know you're dealing with some niggas that's going to tell you what I think of you. Everybody might be scared, but I'm not fucking scared. Fuck all this shit. I'll burn all this shit to the ground.
I have a question. Have you ever met Boosie in person?
Once.
I think that would be a very interesting conversation. You guys have similar mentalities as far as speaking with and standing on what you say and going against the norm, not just to go against the norm, but to stand on your principles.
Yeah. I mean, well, I think that's the thing that people don't understand about the streets. That's all the streets really is, being accountable. So it doesn't really mean other things. You know what I mean? Right. It's just everybody else don't have to be accountable. You know, I saw a video yesterday with academics, and he was at a concert, and some dudes were screaming at him. You know what I mean? And one, he's holding a Hennessy bottle, right? So he's probably drunk. Mm-hmm. And you've been saying all kind of shit and popping your shit, and eventually, the streets will hold you accountable because you are in hip hop. Even if you not necessarily a hip hop nigga, but because your business is in hip hop, niggas will hold you accountable. And they want to know, like, what's up, man? You nigga, what's up? I think you a bitch. And they want you to show them. Yeah. So, like, if I was that nigga older homie, I'd be like, dive on one of these niggas. Punch up. Fight these niggas, man. Show these, be a man. Yeah. Stand up for your words. But being a street nigga, it's nothing to get out of. I've heard a lot of people, street mentality. No, you need to get more with the street mentality. You need to stop talking if you don't want to be held accountable. You need to stop saying shit you want to say because you just want to say it unless you want to deal with it. Like if the world had a little bit more of that, then we'd be fine.
Yep. A lot of people want to say shit as long as they're not stepping on no toes because they don't like what comes with it.
That's what made social media so successful. Niggas can say anything to anybody. But like again, hip hop was always, if you said something, you had to be held accountable.
You had to answer for it.
Yeah, and it works for niggas that really come from that life.
And the artists back in the day, if you were popping that shit, somebody was going to come up on you and challenge that. If you were another artist that was really about that and you saw another artist that wasn't, you were going to,
as a man, it ain't fuck the term artist. As a man, you popping it, and that's what happened to Act, where some dudes was like, what's up? And you walking away. Man, if you don't jump off in the crowd and fight this nigga, I don't give a fuck if you lose or win. Nigga. Throw the bottle. Jump down there and go be a man.
Show him something.
Because you've been talking this shit. I don't want nothing to happen to that dude. That dude is all right. I watched his rise from the culture. The culture benefited him. Right. You know what I mean? But now you popping this shit, you saying shit, people calling you out. And go fight one of these niggas. You fuck around and win. And guess what? You better say what the fuck you want to say. Even if you fight and you put up a fight, nigga, you can say what you want to say. But eventually, you got to fight somebody. For sure. You got to show these motherfuckers it's some pencil behind the shit you talking about.
Well, that goes to the street mentality again, right? Or at least the poverty or the urban mentality. You're gonna get picked on until you sock somebody in the mouth, and then everybody at school knows not to fuck with you no more.
And that's all it is. It's not just poverty. It's just pure masculinity. It's when money can't make you something you're not,
or protect you.
Yeah, like in the regular world, money and other shit and laws make you feel like you don't have to be held accountable. Well, I can say what I want. You can't put your hands on me. Not right here. I mean, maybe in middle class, but not right here. So I just want him to fight somebody. I don't give a fuck if you fight motherfucking Saucy Santana. Go whoop somebody ass, or at least go attempt to go punch somebody in the fucking mouth. Yeah. Stop letting these people talk to you crazy. Like you talking crazy behind the screen, but when you get in here, niggas screaming from the stands. Man, dive on that nigga.
For sure.
Throw a couch on that and do something.
For sure. I agree. Now, I think you're very intelligent when you make these discussions because, like I said, you have some substance behind your opinions and you don't just do it for clickbait. I'm curious to you, when you have a conversation with other people, are you having a conversation with the open mentality to possibly learn something, or you just have the mentality of, let me make my point because I already know X, Y, Z?
True intellect is about listening. What most people don't like about me is I listen to them. See, people think they don't like my opinion. Like Bill, we could be riding talking about hip hop. He thinks he don't like my opinion. He don't. He don't like what he's saying.
Elaborate on that a little bit.
So like when he started, he just was speaking off of his passion in this field for hip hop. This nigga's a real hip hop nigga, a real DJ, right? So he jumps off the porch. Illmatic is the greatest album in hip hop. Then when I said it back to him, and then I said, "That's not even the greatest album out of Queens. Get Rich or Die Trying is better out of Queens."
Thank you.
He was like, "Well, I didn't say that." So the intellect part is not me regurgitating to him or telling him, "Get Rich or Die Trying." It's me telling him, "This is what you said." That's all I do to people most of the time is I listen to them. People crazy as a motherfucker. Just listen to them.
For sure. People will tell you shit if you listen.
Yeah, I swear to God. And that's true intellect. True intellect is I listen to EP. True intellect is I listen to Deuce Mac. Deuce Mac will tell you, I'm going to tell you no first. You be talking like no. Because now I need to keep listening. You got to convince me. Because if you just say, niggas just be saying shit.
Right.
I need to really listen. Do you really believe that? You know what I mean? So then we have a conversation. But true intellect is listening, is the ability to listen in, not to hear, not to acknowledge the sound of what he's saying and tell him, it sound like you said.
Yeah.
It's to listen in, and then break down what he said to you, and then tell him back exactly what he's saying and have a conversation from there.
Absolutely. Whenever I explain something to my daughter, she's 7, I always have her repeat it back to me. I'm like, "Did you understand what I said?" "Yeah." "All right, explain it to me and your mom. Let me know." So that way next time you can't be like, "You didn't get it." And if you don't get it, I'll explain it and break it down to you.
True intellect is the ability to listen and in. It ain't about what I'm saying. It's about what you're saying and then what I'm saying back to you because I've listened and ended it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I know you got to get out of here. So I want to get into Cancel These Nuts real quick. It's got a traditional West Coast sound, right? But it has a hip hop sound too, right? And most people they consider West Coast rap as opposed to hip hop, but I can hear the flavor of both in it.
Sure.
What's the response been going around the country and people checking out the album?
Really good. I mean, I keep hearing the word classic thrown around, and that meant a lot to me till I started thinking niggas thought niggas had 12 classics. Now I don't know what the fuck.
That's another. You had another conversation.
The way these niggas told me a nigga had 9 classics, I was like, oh, now I don't even know if I was a compliment no more if a nigga say my shit classic.
Yeah, I heard that. That was a good conversation too. But
it's really good, man. I know it's a good album, and it's more important. I knew it was good when people understood what we were doing. Once you can convey
with
the
message,
LA
Giants.
Yeah, with the LA Giants EP, like once the message was able to be conveyed, I knew we had something.
And I know the answer to this, but I just want to hear you say it for the people. What is it that makes you stay the course and make your album that you want to make rather than chase a hit or chase a radio or chase a trend or something to get maybe more views or a more popular song or something? What makes you stay in your lane of making the album that you want to make?
The last 12 years. You know what I mean? This is the only way I can do it. Like the more information you fill yourself with when it comes to what hip hop is about, what records are, what marketing is, you only can do one thing. Like it takes a lot of the options away and it creates like a golden path for you to walk. It creates a golden path for you to walk, and you walk the path. And you make it as creative as possible walking the path. When you first come into hip hop, you look at it, it's just a dark open room and you just grabbing shit. You rapping about Gatorades and all kind of anything. You're not focused. You focus on being the best MC and you want to out rap everybody. You got all kind of crazy shit in your head that you think it's about. When you take your time to get the information and understand what this shit is about and to compare it, you lay out a golden path for yourself to walk. And at that point, it's just on you to keep walking even when your legs is tired.
Awesome. And finally, if somebody's going to check out your album, but they can only listen to 2 tracks, what 2 tracks would you tell them to jump to?
First, I tell them to go get it at the Crip Store, right? The cripstore.com, right? Yeah. Go buy the whole vinyl. That's why I made an album, because it's a vinyl.
They can get the autographed copy for only $25.
Yep, or the vinyl for $50. You know what I mean? So I would tell them to get the vinyl. But if there were 2 tracks to define the album, probably Something for Bitches and Kanye Should Have Never Married That Bitch. No disrespect to the single, no disrespect to the low, but to me, those are the points where the album really exists at. You know what I mean? That
Yeah.
socially, like the socially conscious versions of the record is Kanye should have never married that bitch, and Some for Bitches, because you get all our personality. You get my personality, you get the LA Giants personality, you get Irvin Pope's, EPs as a producer, you get his brilliance, and it's just dope.
Well, see, I agree with you on that because the look, like you said, that's classic. That's a single. That's, you know what I mean? Boom, radio or, just vibe or whatever. But the other two have a message.
Yeah.
And it's easy to get caught in the title of the song, but you're pretty much saying you can't turn a hoe into a housewife, which is a very, very important thing for people to hear nowadays because they don't
lost it. They don't know no more.
They don't hear that.
Watching these dudes try to turn these hoes into housewife and their whole life's going into shambles and shit. I'm like,
absolutely.
Dog, y'all didn't hear the Corrupt album? You didn't hear the Dr. Dre album?
Exactly.
But again, I think about it, and it's 30 years ago.
Yeah.
You be forgetting this shit 20 and 30 fucking years ago.
So it's a reminder.
So these dudes grow up their whole life, especially if you ain't from the West. You know what I mean? So you really don't know. So you see these dudes trying to sleep with the last nigga's ex or the last nigga's this or the last, she done fucked everybody and y'all trying to fuck with her. You know what I mean? So
absolutely. And then the other song, it's saying, hey, it's okay to be a man.
Yeah.
And we need to remind people of that
it's
also.
Okay. I agree.
You know what I mean? Like, if you don't want to get your nails done, there's nothing wrong with you. That is okay to be a man.
It's only something wrong with you if you want to get your nails painted as a man and you're not trying to be a girl.
Right.
Now, if you trying to be a girl, that's different.
That's fine.
Yeah, because that's a whole different thing.
Yes.
But if you're a guy and you like, I'm just being different. No, you're being a bitch.
Yeah. Or a weirdo at the least.
A bitch at the least. Now we need to really get into what's really going on with you outside of that. You starting that bitch. You wearing a wedding dress, you's a bitch.
Yeah, for sure.
No disrespect to nobody. Well, all disrespect to everybody. But if you wearing a wedding dress as a man, you a girl.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you like trying to show me you masculine, or you got a purse on, but you got a gun in there.
Yeah.
Like that you just lame.
That's not gonna fix it.
Yeah.
It's not gonna make it okay.
Yeah, bitches got guns too.
Yeah.
They're the same person.
They're still bitches.
I mean? Yeah, still women.
All right, Glasses. Let them know where they could find you online, please.
www.thecripstore.com. And if you want to fuck with me on Instagram, Glasses Low, the LA Giants on Instagram.
And then EPs?
EP is EP Music, at EP Music. Y'all go harass him.
Right, and Billy?
And at DJ Billy Knight. Go harass him on his horrible takes and his biasness towards West Coast.
Ask him about Nas.
Please talk to him. No. Yeah, talk to him about Nas.
Yeah, or bring up somebody else. He'll probably bring up Nas.
Yeah. Exactly.
All right, well, it's Mars Radio, Glasses Malone, and we out.
Welcome to Mars.